Good afternoon, Magic.
Good morning, Luke.
So in the last video, you talked about the fact that data science is a hot mess, and there certainly seems to be a lot of confusion around it. What's going on?
Yes, it is a very confusing space. We even mentioned that data scientists debate each other, what goes into data science and what doesn't.
Yeah, and if they're arguing about it, that certainly is an indicator of the problems. So
yeah, and it's been the whole data science job name was rebranded at least 4 times in the last few decades. So it used to be called data mining, then there was short-lived big data, now it's data science.
Okay, well, let's set the record straight. What is data science?
It's actually quite straightforward. It is and always has been about solving business problems with machine learning.
Full stop.
Yes, that's it.
That's all it is. Okay, so why don't you give us some examples of what kind of problems data science does solve for businesses?
All right, so there are so many out there, and I'll try to do it maybe across more than one industry. What machine learning does is it produces models that look at the data and tell you what it is. So another example, from non-business world is show me the image. Is it a cat? Is it a dog? Right?
Okay.
It's the same. It's the same set of technologies. But in the business environment, you can point these models when you don't know what you are looking at, and specifically, you can aim them into the future, which makes it very interesting. Because then you're asking machine learning models about what's going to happen instead of what's happening now.
All right.
And that makes for very interesting applications. So for instance, in customer-centric environment, you can deploy models that will be telling you what your customers are up to and will help you understand customer needs. You can look at the customer on the individual level and it will tell you this customer is interested in product A, the other customer is interested in product B.
Okay, so in my world, that would be a marketing plan.
Exactly. So many targeted campaigns have machine learning models powering them under the hood. But you take the same technologies and you go to manufacturing and you can build models that will alert you if a factory line or a machine is about to break. And then you can act on this information, avoiding potentially a major, disaster.
Well, a whole factory shutdown. I can see where that would really be very powerful for the business's bottom line.
And then you can take these technologies and bring it to healthcare and use it to optimize internal processes. So, for instance, if you are planning surgeries a couple of days ahead, each surgery takes different amount of time, and the difference could be like 2 times longer or 3 times longer. And if you don't know how long it's going to take, then this process is very inefficient. So you can build models that will give you this assessment on individual patient level, how long the surgery will take. They will look at the surgery type, illness type, the patient demographics. They put it all together and will tell you, it's going to be 2.5 hours. And if you have that on individual patient level, then you can fill your day end to end with surgeries with much lower waste.
Right, because we certainly don't want to have surgery rooms, operating theaters waiting or vacant. It's not good business on that. They should be using them. So this is really, and this is all using the same technology. It's the same thing that we're using to predict these 3 different industries.
Exactly, and many more, right? It's the same process. And that's why data scientists find it easy to jump from one industry to another, because the delivery process is exact same.
Okay, so then I guess this makes me wonder, can machine learning solve all business problems?
Absolutely not. It's actually aimed at very narrow class of problems. There are many more data-related problems and questions that machine learning is absolutely not usable to solve.
Okay, so can you give us some examples of what that would look like that they're not solving business problems with machine learning?
Okay, so Very often, data scientists are tasked with building dashboards that have nothing to do with machine learning, but somehow it lands on their plate.
So the dashboards are for the visuals for people to see.
Yeah, they are like visual representation of what's going on in the business. Another example, very like ad hoc, anything ad hoc very often lands on their plate. So a business exec, so two reports, they should contain the same numbers, but the numbers are different. So please, data scientists, tell me why the numbers are different. And then you go into rabbit hole of reconciliation, trying to find out, where the difference is coming from.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense because I can see a business leader going, let's give it to the math guy to figure out the numbers because it's
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another example is classic, like how are our sales channels performing, for instance, or compare the performance this year versus last year. Nothing to do with machine learning, nothing to do with data science.
So Maciek, I'd like to circle back to some of the confusion around data science, and I'd like you to weigh in on this quote that I heard recently on what a data scientist is. And it's such a mouthful that I actually have to read it. So a data scientist apparently is a person who is better at statistics than any software engineer and better at software engineering than any statistician. Maciek, throw me a freaking bone. What's going on here?
Yeah, look, how is that helpful?
Well, it's annoying because it seems to be circular reasoning and it doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't bring any more clarity. And is this intentional? Like what is this?
I can tell you that data scientists love this definition.
Oh, they love this. You're not saying they love the confusion.
No, I don't think they love the confusion, but this particular one, I saw it so many times, and I think this one just contributes to this sense of superiority over other professions.
Huh.
And that's why they loved it. But it's not clarifying anything. It's muddying the waters.
Well, I think the superiority would be a good follow-up video, but
let's not go there. But what we can do is we can just put a lid on this because we have to. We can go to Wiki and see what Wiki says about data science.
I think that's a great idea because Wiki is a go-to place for so much clarification. So okay, so data science.
Yep.
All right, here we have it. Where should we go?
Jump to the data science techniques.
Okay, so this is what data scientists use to basically solve business questions.
So what you can see here, I mentioned that machine learning builds models.
Yes.
So first one is linear regression, which builds simple but very effective models.
Okay.
And you could call it a grandmother of machine learning.
Grandmother, you mean because it's one of the first models and goes back 25 years?
It's actually predates computing.
Wait, there was machine learning before computers?
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought they were synonymous. I thought computers and machine learning go together, but you're saying they're not.
No, they predates computing by a long shot. Then you have logistic regression. That's another one from the pre-computing era. And together with decision trees and SVMs, they are like three classic machine learning techniques used today by data scientists. Then you have clustering, which is a different machine learning used often for something like customer segmentations. Then you have dimensionality reduction, which is a bit odd one out because it's a bit niche, I'd say, data prep technique for machine learning. And last one is this catch-all machine learning itself.
Okay, so we have all these techniques that are machine learning, and at the end they say, oh, and then there's machine learning. You have machine learning, and machine learning. That makes about as much sense to me as a car dealership saying they sell sports cars, hatchbacks, sedans, and limousines and cars.
It's a repetition, yeah, but it's on point though, yeah.
Okay, so then I want you to answer this question. Why should the average business leader care about this?
Well, I think it's important to understand that there are different types of data problems in every organization, and they require slightly different skills and sometimes a lot of different skills. And before hiring data scientists, before hiring data analysts, it would be good to put those problems into boxes. So this is our box for data science problems. We have another box for data analytics. We have another box for BI and reporting, another box maybe for data engineering. And there's probably 2 or 3 more boxes. And once you do that, then you see what kind of skills you need to hire. And maybe you don't need a data scientist, or maybe you need a whole team of them. You don't know that before you reflect on the types of problems you prioritize to be solved.
Right. So what it seems to be happening here is that data science is seen as a catch-all for all business problems.
It kind of ends up like that. They are treated like a silver bullet. And worse than that, often they are hired and they are left to figure out which problems they actually should be solving.
Well, that makes about as much sense as hiring someone and telling them to write the job description for you.
That's,
who would do that?
That's
right?
sort of what happens often. And when that happens, of course, what data scientists do, they look for problems solvable with machine learning.
Because that's what their passion is. Their
Exactly.
passion is the machine learning. So they're going to want to solve that.
Yes, even if the business priorities are actually different.
Huh. Okay. Well, I think this is a good place to bring this video to an end. It's been very informative. And I think until our next video, Maciek. Thank you.
See you.